As the world prepares to say farewell to Astro's Cha Eun-woo for military service, BTS's Jungkook may have already done so, in a way that only true friends do. For the past few weeks, fans knew exactly where Jungkook was: Los Angeles. Photos of the BTS members training, recording, and even working on choreography had slowly trickled through fan spaces. Jungkook, ever focused, was reportedly diving deep into physical training, with one Korean weightlifting champion even saying his body's not just fit, it's like a bodybuilder's. But then, something shifted. Suddenly, Jungkook went silent. No new updates, no LA sightings, not even a Weverse Live, which fans had grown used to during his quiet military-free time. And then, the whispers began. He left LA. He's back in Korea. It's for Eun-woo. The date that kept appearing on fans' timelines was July 28, 2025. The day Cha Eun-woo, beloved member of Astro and rising global actor, would officially enlist in the South Korean military. Eun-woo and Jungkook's friendship has never been loud. It was never based on endless selfies or viral live streams. Instead, it was something deeper, a mutual understanding, perhaps built on shared pressure, unspoken expectations, and years of walking the same delicate tightrope of fame. And when Jungkook went into the military back in 2023, Cha Eun-woo was one of the few idols who publicly sent well wishes, even referencing their friendship with heartfelt words. Now, fans believe Jungkook was returning the gesture, not with tweets, not with cameras, but with presence. Multiple fan reports surfaced of increased security at Incheon Airport on July 26, 27th. While no official name was confirmed, armies noticed a familiar pattern: black vans, hidden entrances, the hush-hush handling that typically surrounds a BTS member's arrival. What stood out this time was that there was no schedule, no announcement, no event. Why would a BTS member return secretly unless he's not here as a celebrity? One fan wrote, "He's here as a friend." And suddenly, the quiet made sense. This wasn't a publicity move. It was a private goodbye, an intimate send-off, a brother showing up for another. Across platforms, from X, formerly Twitter, to TikTok, Weverse to Instagram, fans from both fandoms poured out their hearts. Theories turned into tributes. Speculations became love letters. Screenshots of old Jungkook Eun-woo moments were stitched together like pieces of a quiet history finally making sense. Some of the most viral comments included, "Jungkook didn't post a thing, and that's how you know it was real. He showed up for his friend in the same way BTS showed up for us, quietly, with love." This hits harder than any public goodbye. Hashtag Jungkook Eun-woo, hashtag silent goodbye, hashtag real friendship. All three hashtags trended in multiple countries, and fans began organizing digital tribute threads filled with warm messages and emotional artwork. When Jungkook enlisted in December 2023, it sent ripples through the fandom world. Fans cried, wrote letters, and stayed up late to watch the brief glimpse of him waving goodbye. It was heartbreaking, yet peaceful, because he chose to go quietly with dignity. He understood then what it meant to leave behind a world of cameras and lights, not knowing exactly what would change when he returned. So when Cha Eun-woo's turn came, Jungkook didn't send flowers, he didn't make a social media post, he showed up. He remembered what it felt like, and so he gave what he wished someone had given him: presence, warmth, and a friend who says nothing, but means everything. To outsiders, this may seem like nothing. There are no airport photos, no live stream, no selfies, no words. But to fans who have walked with Jungkook for over a decade, this silence screams louder than anything. It speaks of the man he's become, someone who doesn't need to perform a friendship to prove it exists, someone who doesn't need a spotlight to shine in someone else's darkness. And fans feel it deeply, because BTS taught them to see the invisible gestures. To ARMY and Aroha, this moment isn't just about friendship, it's about healing, loyalty, and quiet strength. Maybe one day, years from now, in an interview or a random podcast, Jungkook will casually say, "Yeah, I flew home that week. I wanted to say goodbye." Maybe Cha Eun-woo will smile and nod. Or maybe they'll never speak about it publicly. Maybe it'll stay a quiet memory between two friends. And that's okay, because some stories are meant to live, not told. Every time Jungkook disappears from public view, fans hold their breath. But when he reappears, even in whispers, it becomes clear. He's not just an idol. He's not just a singer. He's not just the golden maknae. He's the kind of man who shows up when it matters. Not for the cameras, not for applause, but for the people he loves. And for fans who have loved him for so long, that makes all the difference. In a world dominated by live streams, fan service, and instant updates, Jungkook's choice to stay silent speaks volumes. This wasn't about gaining likes. It wasn't about headlines. It wasn't even about confirming anything. It was about being there, and only those who've experienced the heaviness of parting, the final moments before a life-changing transition, know how much that matters. For Jungkook, who lived through that quiet walk into the military himself, a goodbye with no promise of how the world would look on the other side, the emotion wasn't theoretical. It was personal. And that's what fans are connecting to. "This moment healed something in me," wrote a Korean army. "Seeing Jungkook return for Eun-woo, I felt less alone in my own goodbyes." He knew how it felt, so he made sure Eun-woo didn't go through it alone. That's what friendship looks like. What's rare and beautiful is how two fandoms, often walking separate paths, are now standing side by side in unity and love. ARMY, the devoted global BTS fanbase, and Aroha, the loyal followers of Astro, flooded online spaces with empathy and shared admiration. Fan art of Jungkook and Eun-woo hugging circulated on Twitter and Instagram. Edits of their past interactions, especially that emotional 2021 award show moment where they exchanged a quiet smile, resurfaced, now seen through a more heartfelt lens. They always had this quiet bond. We just never saw all of it, one fan wrote. Thank you, Jungkook, for showing the world how to be a real friend. I'm an Aroha, and today I became an ARMY too. For a moment, there was no competition, no fan wars, no comparisons, just two fan communities mourning a temporary goodbye and celebrating the love between two men who respect each other deeply. Military enlistment has always been a looming shadow over every male K-pop idol's career. It's the inevitable pause, the silence between songs, that fans fear and the industry dances around. For many, it's a lonely journey. Idols walk in as superstars and walk out uncertain of what remains. That's why moments like these matter. When an idol takes time to quietly stand by another, not as a label mate or collaborator, but as a friend, it shifts something. It makes the goodbye less frightening, the silence less empty. And for Jungkook, who has already been through the storm, returning to accompany Eun-woo is not just a personal gesture. It's a message. You won't face this alone. It's a reminder that the bonds formed in this industry, even when hidden behind cameras, are real and lasting. Jungkook debuted at 15, the youngest in BTS, the one who watched his 6 older brothers blaze trails while he silently matured behind the scenes. But over the years, fans have watched him transform, not just vocally or physically, but emotionally. This act, this quiet flight home, feels like another evolution. Not the Jungkook of 7 dominating charts, not the Jungkook of Calvin Klein campaigns going viral, not even the Weavers' live Jungkook giggling with fans at 3 a.m. This was Jungkook, the man, who values presence more than performance, who understands grief and goodbye, and who chooses to show love in the most profound way, without expecting applause. Maybe not. And strangely, that's okay. If this visit is never photographed, never mentioned, never confirmed, it may be even more powerful. Because in a world where everything is public, some things gain value precisely because they're private. Fans will carry the story not as confirmed news, but as a treasured emotional truth. One passed between ARMY and Iroha like folklore, like a favorite verse in a BTS song. You don't need to say anything. I understand you. BTS, Spring Day. With Eun-woo now stepping into his military journey and Jungkook quietly resuming preparations for BTS's rumored October comeback, the world keeps moving, but fans remain still, just for a moment, to hold on to the warmth of this chapter. They hope that someday, when both idols have completed their duties, they'll reunite. Not in secret, but in joy. Maybe even on stage. Maybe in a quiet cafe. Or maybe just in the hearts of fans who believed in the invisible. It's strange, isn't it? How one man's silence can make so much noise. How a rumor that Jungkook flew back to Korea just to say goodbye to a friend can make millions cry. But perhaps that's what love looks like in the BTS universe. Not a spectacle, not a stage, just two people showing up for each other, even when no one's watching. And maybe that's the real headline. Jungkook didn't have to go, but he did. And for that, the world is a little softer today.